You think you'd know if tomorrow was your last day? You think the universe would warn you, give you a sign, let you prepare? It doesn't. It's August 23rd, 79 AD. Dawn is breaking over Pompeii. 20,000 people are waking up in a city that has 16 hours left to live. But they don't know that. Nobody knows that. Not the baker lighting his oven. Not the prostitute closing her brothel for the night. Not the gladiator training for games that will never happen. Not the businessman counting money he'll never spend. Not the mother kissing children who will die in her arms tomorrow. Everything looks normal. Everything looks permanent. The sun rises like it always does. The mountain stands where it always stands. Vesuvius, looming over the city, 7 miles away, silent for 800 years. Just a mountain, just landscape, just there. Except it's not a mountain, it's a bomb, and the fuse is burning down to nothing. But how could they know? How could anyone know? The question isn't why they didn't leave. The question is, where would they go? This is home. This is life. This is the only August 23rd they'll ever have. They just don't know it's the last one. So they wake up, they make breakfast, they open shops, they fight and fuck and scheme and trade and gossip and worship and work. They live completely, intensely, unknowingly, living their last day exactly like every day before it. And that's what makes this so terrible and so beautiful. You're standing in the Forum at 6 a.m. and Pompeii is already alive. The market is setting up. Fishmongers hauling their catch from the port. Bakers sliding loaves into brick ovens. The butcher hanging his meat. Wine cellars opening their amphorae. Vegetable farmers arranging their produce. Everything fresh. Everything optimistic. Everything temporary. Look at them. Really look at them. That woman buying bread. She's choosing carefully, examining each loaf, negotiating the price down by a quadrant. Tomorrow, her body will be found clutching a loaf she never ate. That money she's saving, worthless. That future she's planning, cancelled. But right now she's winning at negotiation. Right now she's clever. Right now she's alive. And bread is important. And tomorrow is guaranteed, because tomorrow is always guaranteed, until it isn't. Why Pompeii? Why this city? That's what you're wondering, right? Of all the cities in the empire, why did this one have to die? The cruel answer is no reason. Geography is destiny, and Pompeii's destiny was written by plate tectonics and magma chambers and blind geological luck. They built a prosperous city 7 miles from a volcano that hadn't erupted since before Rome existed. They had no word for volcano. They didn't know what volcanoes were. Vesuvius was just the mountain that made the soil rich, the mountain that sheltered them from north winds, the mountain that gave them the perfect climate for grapes and olives and wheat, the mountain that made this place paradise, the same mountain that's about to make it hell. But here's what breaks your heart. They were so close to safe. 7 miles. If they'd built the city 15 miles away instead of 7, everyone survives. If the wind had been blowing a different direction tomorrow, everyone survives. If the eruption had happened at night instead of noon, maybe, more people escape. But it didn't, and they won't. And today, right now, they're living in the last hours when safety was still possible. It's 8 a.m., and the city is humming. The brothels are closing after a profitable night. The gladiator barracks are training for games scheduled in 3 days. Games that will never happen. The thermopolium is serving breakfast to workers heading to the docks. The fullers are trampling togas in vats of urine. The fish sauce factory is fermenting garum that will never be sold. The bakery slaves are turning millstones that will never complete another revolution. Everything is so normal, and that's the horror of it. There's no dramatic music, no ominous signs, no prophetic warnings. Just another day in a prosperous Roman town. Just people living. Just the machinery of civilization grinding away in total ignorance of its imminent annihilation. You want there to be signs. You want them to have a chance. You want someone to look at Vesuvius and say something's wrong and start evacuating and save everyone. But that's not how catastrophe works. Catastrophe looks like a normal day until it doesn't. By 10 a.m., you can start to see the cracks, if you know what you're looking for. The dogs are nervous, pacing, whining. The horses in the stables are agitated. Some wells are running dry, groundwater being heated by rising magma, evaporating before it reaches the surface. There are minor tremors, so minor most people don't even notice. Pompeii has tremors all the time. They rebuilt after the big earthquake 17 years ago. Tremors are normal. Tremors are just Pompeii being Pompeii. No one's connecting the dots because there are no dots to connect in their minds. They have no framework for understanding what's happening beneath their feet. They don't know that the magma chamber under Vesuvius is superheating. They don't know the pressure is building. They don't know the mountain is literally about to explode. How could they know? They're not stupid. They're not ignorant. They're just human. And humans can only know what experience teaches them. And Vesuvius's last lesson was 800 years ago, before history, before memory. Everyone who knew is 800 years dead, and everyone alive is about to learn. It's noon. The sun is high. The heat is brutal. And somewhere deep under Vesuvius, 7 miles away, rock is liquefying. Gas is compressing. Pressure is building toward the breaking point. The planet is inhaling before the scream. But in Pompeii, people are eating lunch. At the thermopolium, workers are buying hot stew and bread. At the forum, businessmen are negotiating contracts for deliveries next month. Next month that doesn't exist. At the baths, naked men are discussing politics and philosophy, their voices echoing off walls that have hours left standing. At the brothel, a prostitute is waking up in a tiny cell where she'll die tomorrow. At the bakery, bread is coming out of ovens. At the arena, a gladiator is practicing with a wooden sword. At the villa, a wealthy merchant is counting money. At the temple, priests are sacrificing a dove to Venus. Venus, who will not protect them, who cannot protect them, who is as powerless as everyone else. The gods are not going to save Pompeii. Nothing is going to save Pompeii. In 16 hours, Vesuvius will erupt. In 24 hours, most of these people will be dead. In 48 hours, the city will be buried under 20 feet of ash and pumice. In 2,000 years, archaeologists will find them exactly as they fell, frozen in the moment of death, preserved by the thing that killed them. But right now they're alive, eating, drinking, working, loving, fighting, scheming, living so hard because living is all anyone can do with their time. And isn't that the point? You want to scream at them. Run. Get out. Tonight. Please. But they can't hear you. And even if they could, run where? This is home. This is life. This is everything they have. Their houses, their businesses, their families. their identities, their whole world. It's all here, in this city, under this mountain. How do you convince someone to abandon everything on the suspicion that a mountain might be dangerous? A mountain that's been harmless for longer than Rome has existed? You can't. You sound crazy, and they have lives to live, bills to pay, children to feed, shops to run, deals to close. Today's problems seem real and urgent. Tomorrow's apocalypse is unimaginable. That's the cruelty of catastrophe. It's always unimaginable until it isn't. It's 2 p.m. The afternoon heat is oppressive. At the house of the Veti, slaves are cleaning the floors while the master naps. Those floors, those beautiful mosaic floors, will be buried under ash tomorrow and not seen again for 1,100 years. The slaves cleaning them don't know they're maintaining a mausoleum. The master sleeping doesn't know he's sleeping in his tomb. At the Garden of the Fugitives, children are playing. Tomorrow, 13 people will die in this garden trying to escape. Their bodies will be found huddled together, fossilized by ash, preserved in their final terrified embrace. But today it's just a garden, just children playing, just life happening. At the amphitheater, preparations continue for games that will never occur. The gladiators training don't know they're practicing for death that will come from the sky instead of the sword. The sand they're standing on will become their grave. At the marina gate, a ship is loading cargo for Rome. It will never arrive. Tomorrow, it will be sunk by tsunami waves generated by the eruption. The crew loading it is doomed. The merchant who hired it will never see his investment return. The cargo is already lost. It just doesn't know it yet. Everything is already lost. It just doesn't know it yet. How do you live in the shadow of a volcano? The same way you live anywhere. You assume tomorrow will come. You assume the ground will stay solid. You assume the sky will stay above you instead of falling. You assume the world will continue to be the world. Because what's the alternative? Constant paranoia, never settling, never building, never loving because loss is possible. The Pompeians made the rational choice. They lived. They built a beautiful city in a perfect location with rich soil and mild climate and access to the sea. They created art and commerce and culture. They made wine and bread and love and money. They lived. And yes, it killed them. Yes, they built their paradise on a geological time bomb. Yes, they should have known better. Except how could they? You live where you live. You love what you love. You build where you build. And you hope, you have to hope, that tomorrow comes. For Pompeii, tomorrow comes at noon on August 24th, and it comes with fire and ash and death and 2,000 years of silence. But today they're still hoping, still building, still living. It's 4 p.m. 16 hours remain. The afternoon is winding down. The shops will close soon. The baths are filling with evening crowds. Families are gathering for dinner. Children are being called home. Workers are finishing shifts. Gladiators are heading to the barracks. Prostitutes are waking up for the evening shift. The city is transitioning from work to leisure, from day to night, from August 23rd to August 24th. Just another sunset, just another transition, just another evening in an eternal city. Except it's the last evening, the last sunset, the last transition. And nobody knows. A mother is cooking dinner for children who will be dead tomorrow. A father is teaching his son a trade the son will never practice. A couple is fighting over something that won't matter in 16 hours. Someone is falling in love. Someone else is falling out of love. Someone is being born. Someone is dying naturally, peacefully, not knowing how lucky they are to die before tomorrow comes. Life is happening with absolute intensity because life doesn't know when to stop. Life doesn't have a fast-forward button. Life has to be lived at normal speed, moment by moment, even when those moments are the last ones. It's 8 p.m. The sun is setting behind Vesuvius. The mountain is a dark silhouette against the orange sky. It looks peaceful. It looks eternal. It looks like it will stand there forever, exactly as it's standing now. In 16 hours, it will be unrecognizable. The mountain will be shorter, blown apart from the inside. The summit will be gone. The shape will be changed. Vesuvius will still be there. But it won't be the same mountain these people fell asleep looking at. But tonight, it's just a beautiful sunset. Just the mountain they've always known. Just the familiar landscape of home. At the taverns, people are drinking wine that was grown in Vesuvius's rich volcanic soil. The mountain that will kill them is the same mountain that feeds them. The volcano that will destroy them created the prosperity they're celebrating. That's the irony. That's the tragedy. That's the cosmos showing its cruel sense of balance. The thing that makes Pompeii perfect is the thing that will make it perfectly destroyed. It's midnight. 12 hours remain. The city is quieter now. Most people are sleeping. The streets belong to cats and drunks and night workers. The brothels are still operating. The taverns are still serving. The bakers will start work in a few hours. But most of Pompeii is unconscious, dreaming, resting, preparing for a tomorrow that will never arrive as expected. And under their sleeping bodies, under their beds, under their floors, under their city, the earth is groaning. Magma is rising. Gas is compressing. The crust is fracturing. The mountain is preparing to break. But they sleep, because what else can you do? You can't stay awake forever, guarding against unknowable threats. You have to sleep. You have to trust. You have to believe that morning will come, and life will continue, and the world will still be the world. For 12 more hours, they're right. The world is still the world. Morning will come. Life will continue. Just not for as long as they think. It's 6 a.m., August 24th. 6 hours remain. The city wakes up exactly like it woke up yesterday, exactly like it's woken up for 300 years. The bakers light their ovens. The fishermen head to sea. The shops open. The forum fills. Children go to school. Workers go to work. Life continues because life always continues. Except on Vesuvius, 7 miles away, something is different. The mountain is rumbling, venting gas. There are more tremors. Small ones, ignorable ones. Some wells are completely dry now. Some springs are running hot. The air smells slightly of sulfur. A few people notice. A few people are nervous. A few people think about leaving. Most don't, because most days that feel wrong end up being fine. Most nervousness is wasted. Most fears don't materialize. And besides, it's mid-morning. Shops are open. Business is happening. You can't just abandon your store because of a funny feeling. You can't evacuate a city because some wells are dry. So they stay. They work. They live. For 6 more hours. At noon, on August 24th, 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius explodes. The mountain doesn't just erupt. It detonates. The summit blows off in a volcanic column that rises 20 miles into the stratosphere. Pumice and ash begin falling on Pompeii. The sky goes dark at midday. The sun disappears. The air becomes unbreathable. The city begins to die. Some people run immediately. They'll survive. They'll make it to boats, to roads, to anywhere but here. They'll live to tell the story. Pliny the Younger will write it down. History will remember. Others wait too long. They think it will stop. They think they can shelter in place. They think their stone houses will protect them. They go to interior rooms. They hide. They wait. They die there. Buried. Suffocated. Fossilized by ash. Frozen in time. The baker dies in his oven. The dog dies on its chain. The gladiators die in their barracks. The family dies in the garden. The prisoners die in their cells. The prostitute dies in her brothel. The merchant dies clutching his money. The mother dies holding her child. 20,000 people, some killed by falling pumice, some suffocated by ash, some by the pyroclastic surge the next morning, a superheated cloud of gas and particles travelling at 300 miles per hour, instantly killing everything it touches. Pompeii dies, completely, suddenly, terribly, and then the ash buries it, 20 feet deep, perfectly preserving it, perfectly destroying it, creating the most complete archaeological snapshot of Roman life ever discovered, making Pompeii immortal through death. Here's what haunts me about Pompeii. They were so normal, so completely, perfectly normal. The graffiti on the walls is normal. Marcus loves Julia. The bread here is excellent. I screwed a prostitute named Marcia. Normal, human, real. The food on the tables is normal. Bread, fish, wine, olives. The meal that never finished. The last bites never taken. The conversation interrupted forever. The businesses are normal. Profit margins calculated. Inventory counted. Debts recorded. Next week's deliveries ordered. Futures that evaporated. The lives are normal. Fights and friendships and love affairs and grudges and gossip and all the tiny infinite complexity of human existence. All frozen, all ended, all preserved exactly as it was when it stopped. That's what makes Pompeii unbearable and irresistible. It's us. It's exactly us. If a volcano buried your city tomorrow, archaeologists would find the same things, the same normalcy, the same humanity, the same assumption that tomorrow would come. We are Pompeii. Every single day we don't know is our last day. Every single morning we wake up assuming the ground will stay solid and the sky will stay up and the world will continue. Every single day we're exactly as doomed and exactly as ignorant and exactly as alive as Pompeii on August 23rd, 79 AD. The only difference is Vesuvius hasn't erupted yet. Whatever your Vesuvius is, it hasn't erupted yet, but it will, someday, for everyone. The mountain is always waiting. So what do you do with that? You do what Pompeii did. You live, you love, you work, you build, you create, you connect, you make the most of the time before the mountain explodes. You treat every day like it might be the last, because someday you'll be right. You live completely, intensely, gratefully, unknowingly. You live like Pompeii, beautifully doomed and beautifully alive. We know all this because Vesuvius preserved what it destroyed. The ash that killed Pompeii also mummified it, created perfect molds of bodies, preserved food on tables, kept graffiti on walls, maintained entire city blocks, gave us a snapshot of August 24th, 79 AD that we can walk through and touch and see and understand better than almost any other moment in ancient history. The archaeological evidence is overwhelming. 17,000 bodies found, entire houses intact, businesses with inventory still on the shelves, bread still in ovens, elections ads still on walls. the daily life of Rome preserved in volcanic amber. Pliny the Younger's eyewitness account describes the eruption from across the bay. His uncle, Pliny the Elder, died trying to rescue people. The written record and the physical evidence match perfectly. We know exactly how Pompeii died. We know when. We know why. We know who. What we don't know, what we can never know, is what they were thinking, what they were feeling, what those last hours were like for the people living them. We can only imagine. We can only stand in the ruins and try to feel the city as it was, living, breathing, completely unaware. We can only look at the mountain and remember that some mountains explode, and we can only hope that our mountain, whatever it is, gives us warning we didn't give ourselves. Pompeii, the city that died so we could see how Romans lived, the city that became immortal through total destruction, the city that warns us, live now, love now, build now. The mountain is always waiting. But today is not August 24th. Today is still August 23rd. And on August 23rd, Pompeii is alive.